My home was waiting with an open arms for me to go back and remember who I am. But my home was waiting with an open arms for me to go back.
Hello people, how are you today? Welcome on the Emmaus Africa TV show today, and as always I'm happy to be introducing yet another wonderful guest who is doing amazing things across the continent. Again, the whole essence of Emmaus Africa is to celebrate all things Africa, because this is a time more than ever when we should be proud of our own and making sure that we are thinking Africa first in all that we do. And we don't have a shortage of role models, leaders, mentors that we can say we want to follow in their path. Without further ado, let me bring on my guest today. Welcome on the Emmaus Africa show.
Thank you so much. My name is Emmasus Kimani. I'm a curator based in East Africa. Specifically, I'm from Nairobi, Kenya.
Hey, shout out to the Nairobians and Kenyans in the house.
And I'm very glad to be here and to meet and to talk about practice, about futures, about possibilities, about power and dynamics and some of these realities.
So thank you for your time. I'm going to talk about where we met. Because we met recently at the event by the African Centre in partnership with the British Council, and it was talking about how culture evolves. And I agree that culture evolves, but I think that one of the things that stood out for me at that conference was, of course, it was a plethora of different works going on in Africa. I think one of the things that did come out for me was talking about ownership. And you went on, trust me, he went on about the need for it to be localized. When we talk about digitalization, the evolving of culture, it really should start from local, like Africa. Yeah. Tell us more about yourself in that regard and how you come to this conclusion that it has to be localized, which I agree, by the way.
Yeah, I think for me, the most interesting thing is when I think about technology is it should be a tool, it should be a medium that we can use. But I feel like sometimes it ends up becoming a tool used to use us or to control us.
I like that, a tool to use us or a tool to control us.
So we should have been over the novelty of new technologies. We should be over the excitement of the coolness of new things. We should think about what functions towards what we need, towards what will change our lives, towards what will improve our lives. And I think that should be the most important thing. And of course, also towards what can give us pleasure, towards what can entertain us, but we should choose that for ourselves as opposed to this being chosen and presented to us in beautiful, nice packages that then we subscribe to, even if they're taking from us more than they're giving us.
And I think that's what I suspect I'm hearing is you're really talking about sustainability and ownership here. And I'm sure that comes from a familiar place of how our identity has been eroded by colonization, slavery, and much more, whereby even many of what is ours have been claimed not to be ours. I suspect what I'm hearing from you is simply saying, in this age of technology, in this age of the immersion of AI and all of this, who's going to be the owner of the content and the copyright and originality of it? Is that what I hear you say?
Yes, and it's really complex, but also somehow, to me, how I see it, it's so plain and simple and obvious. I feel like what I would say is colonialism kind of was like, and still is like a way to dominate others. Like it's like conquering space, conquering peoples, conquering ideas, and I don't think it ever stopped. So what happened is it's kept on changing its mask or changing its face. And so, like, let's say the colonialists left Africa from the 60s to the late 90s. And but did they really leave? And what was colonization? For me, colonization, or like what colonization ended up being in effect, was a mining of resources, a gathering of capital.
Are we gonna go there today?
A gathering of capital.
Oh my
So
God.
when they left, then the colonialists have left, but then they left us with this gift, or with this idea of development, with this, and the tool for development was capitalism. But then someone, so like the
You're
colonialism
being very real.
was like an accumulation of capital.
Yeah.
Then when they leave, then they say that this is a tool for development, this is a tool for being better, for being like us, which is a problem. And then,
and I think if I may come in, and I think that you're right to a very large extent, and I say this because the very nature of the West is capitalism. It's about capitalism, it's about power, it's about dominance, it's about saying to others that you aren't civilized to our standard, and if you are going to be called a civilization, it is to our standard. And they practice one size fits all, and that isn't what it should be. Because even, and I say this all the time on the show, don't I, about how in the Yoruba cosmology, and of course in the African cosmology, we believe that the creator knew what he or she was doing by creating us all different, and the evidence is in our five fingers. They're not equal. It is far-fetched that humanity wants it to be one size fits all, one size knowledge, one size way of calling development, one size currency, one size everything. What I'm hearing you say is that weren't from a place of true diplomacy or honesty, and it was really to take over and dominate another race, I would say.
And it's sad that I think the biggest problem for humanity is this quest for domination and constant trying to dominate and to conquer others. And it's so sad that as Africans we kind of fell for the tricks, and I know that it was very violent, so I can't say that we were weak or that we lost in these ways, but so maybe we were soft and we were kind and we were open and we were curious, and
it's really about the Ubuntu, isn't it? Which is that we are trusting, we are accommodating, we are communal in nature, and
maybe
some people decided to take advantage of that.
Never envisioned such violence towards humanity.
Because you wouldn't expect it to be what is happening. You know what I mean? As always, like I always say, that human nature happens, and you might hear noises around, but hey, we've got to do what we've got to do. We're in a public space, and it's a beautiful place as well. We'll show you at the end. And you're right.
My home was waiting with an open arms for me to go back and remember who I am. But my home was waiting with an open arms for me to go back and